Hey, what is up everyone? It's Rich. All right, welcome to a video. What I thought I would do is first I'm going to start off by showing you the finished piece on this Nina and Ariel piece by Ed Bennis. And then I'm going to show you about 13 minutes of sped up inking. So just so you can get an idea of what the final look like. This is actually a raw scan. I darkened the levels a tiny bit just to get the black a little blacker on it, but past that it hasn't been cleaned up at all, so you can still see a little tiny bit of the pencil on the board here and there. And you know, this was a commission. You'll get all the details when you watch the full video, but yeah, very fun piece to do. I inked, I think, 2 of these pages, not for publication, just someone had bought the originals off of Ed and wanted them inked. And a Catwoman commission the guy picked up too. So yeah, settle into the video, enjoy, and you'll see me working on these guys. This guy's cape, which I put in a little bit of white detail here. Some of the hair, her body. I can't remember exactly where I work. I think I work on this guy a little bit, or maybe he's done. But anyway, enjoy the video and make sure to smash the like and subscribe if you haven't. All right, later. Bye. Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, welcome to me inking. Hold on. This is gonna help me. I had the video muted on my thing. So yeah, this is a Nina and Ariel page by penciler Ed Bennis. I believe the book was not inked and it's colored over the pencils, but someone that I know had bought some pieces off of Ed, and these 2 were in there, and he wanted me to ink them over the original pencils. So that's what I did. And here we go. So Hunt 102, I'm inking the hair. If you notice, the piece is on what is called Ed Bennis Studios paper. I have no idea what brand of paper it actually is, but it was mushy. So the Hunt 102 did not work great on it, and you'll see me switch tools quite a bit. I go to the Copic multi-liners a lot on them because it was slowing me down a lot, having the paper kind of mushy and tearing, and then also you know, it affected my line, which was not going to work for me. So you know, I was determined to use the 102 though, because it was actually my preferred tool for this style of art. So, you know, sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. I knew that there were certain parts of the piece that just were going to be much easier and would end up looking better done with the multi-liner. But so much of it was done with the nib. I mean, you can see there's a real bold kind of quality, and you know, you saw the scan of the piece when I did the intro of the video. So there's a warmth to it. There's a thin and thick quality, and you know, then also the level of detail. With Copic multi-liners, I mean, you could get that, but you would be doing a lot of sculpting, so it would be very time-consuming way to do it, and probably not time effective if you were on any kind of deadline. There was just a tremendous amount of hair to ink on this page in particular. It was funny because I'd been working on the piece for quite a while at this point where we're at right now. I mean, it was probably at least 6 hours. And I felt like all I had been inking is hair. And then it was just funny to sort of realize that I was like, what do I have left to ink? And I'm like, God dang, like 5 more heads of hair. It was just crazy. But like, yeah, it was I'm not even going to go there with a joke. It's not even funny. It was a lot of hair. Ed does really beautiful like girl faces. They have this kind of warm, sort of sultry look to the eyes. I'm showing pencil lead. I was talking about lead on paper, and I use 3 different kinds of pencils. I use a drafting pencil with either 3H lead, H, sometimes 2H. I generally don't go much softer except if I'm sketching. I actually do like number 2 pencils though, just a regular pencil. And then I've got a Pentel Japanese, I guess you'd call it like a click pencil, called the Oren's Nero. And it's expensive. I mean, it's like $25, something like that. And it's a very thin lead. I think it's 0.2 or 0.02, something like that. It's very thin and very breakable, but I like it and it works well for me. So anyway, Back to Ed. Yeah, so you can see I'm using the multi-liner here, and I'm inking like the guy's cape. And when I'm inking drapery and stuff like that, I try to be conscious of the forms and the overlapping of the material and stuff like that. So it's not just lines for me. I mean, I really do try to get into the characteristics of the different materials and stuff that I ink. Materials not necessarily just meaning material like clothing, but like your skin. If you're looking at it as like digital assets, like it's like skin has got a quality to it, hair has got a quality to it, scale mail has a quality to it, chain mail has its own sort of personality. So when you're inking that stuff, I mean, you want to be aware of that, and then kind of how light would affect it and things like that. And the best pencilers are very aware of this stuff, and it can be subtly placed into their work, but it is actually in fact there. And there's a lot of style too. It's usually a good combination of both for the funner styles. So it looks like I mainly use, I think it's a 0.1 Copic multiliner. Let me look. Yeah, it's a 0.1. It's probably my Copic multiliner of choice. So it's a good size. It's thin, but it can also, you can sculpt lines and get a thick line pretty quick. So it seems pretty efficient. And then the next size that I would use, I guess, would be the 0.2. Yesterday was funny because I'm inking on Iron Maiden series over penciler Kevin West, and Kevin is a really really detailed penciler, and he's also very fast. And so when I was inking his stuff, I was using kind of more traditional tools like brush and croquis. And what I found was at times it really made actually more sense to use microns on it, only because not to really speed me up, but it seemed to emulate the quality of his line more. And what I found is, like, I was inking the Iron Maiden character Eddie. He's traveled through many like times and scenarios and stuff like that. So it's like, he was around during the time of Jack the Ripper. He was around, a million years ago, whatever. Like it's like he's sort of covers it all. And so there's some kind of like Neanderthal caveman, and I was inking the hair with a brush, and it was just looking like very pretty hair on cavemen. And I was like, this isn't really getting the look that I want. I mean, it looked nice. I'll show it, I'm sure, at some point. But yeah, it looked like the caveman had, taken a shower and used conditioner and, went to a stylist or something like that. I was like, all right, I need to roughen this stuff up a little bit. These are going to be very beautiful cave people or whatever, Neanderthal men. So anyway, but yeah, so you want to be mindful of that kind of stuff when you're inking stuff. So yeah, I was using '03 micron for that, which was nice. It was not so thin that it felt like a fussy tool, but it wasn't overly thick. Sometimes I'll use an '08 too. I actually like the '08 micron quite a bit for bold lines. So that comes in handy. And then my other would be the 005. And that's for thin stuff, but not for eyes. If you're gonna ink eyes on little tiny faces like those ones in that middle panel, I would use, I mean, honestly, I would probably use a really good Hunt 102, but if not, I mean, the zero point 0.1 micron or Copic multiliner would be okay, but I don't know. I think, because the thing is especially if you have to erase the page, you're going to want a line that's going to stay down. And if you use like a micron, that thing doesn't stay down real well after the piece is erased. I even erased my blue lines. I've mentioned that before. And someone had asked about what my settings are for blue lines, and I mentioned that I do eyeball it. I will get what I consider a good blue line and look at the actual sort of decimals of what the color blue is that I tend to gravitate to. But it does depend on the piece. If something's very detailed, I'll print it a little darker, so I may make the blue. And also, I tend to lean towards cyan over true blue. So, but yeah, I'll get those settings and I'll post it in an upcoming video. But yeah, even my blue lines I erase. So when I'm done inking a blue line, I'll erase it, and then I fill in a majority of the blacks then. Because just working on a piece for 6 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours, even on a blue line, you kind of you get the piece dirty. It's weird. And I'm not even talking mistakes or smears. What I mean is just it's like that inking tool is kind of dirty and my hand gets a little dirty. And just over a period of inking the piece, there's just like an accumulation of sort of like very light grime that gets on it. And also when you erase it, you'll remove all that, but you'll also remove some of the blue will come up, which is nice. So it makes it easier to clean up digitally. Um, and if you work digitally, then you don't have to worry about that. But then you also don't have an original artboard like this. I mean, Ed Bennis probably made, who knows, off of the 3 pieces that he sold this guy, but probably quite a bit. Honestly, I'm sure these weren't cheap. So original art is always nice to have. I mean, it's like, I think digital artists realize that. You see them trying to work around it in different ways now, but I get it. I love digital tools. I mean, I say it again and again and again. I've been very, very active in my Clip Studio Paint lately. I was, doing layouts and just learning the program even more. And I know my way around it actually pretty good. But it's a fun thing to have. The versatility of something like Clip Studio Paint is fantastic. I seriously do not understand why they don't upgrade it more. They're really, really due to like take it to the next level. Like there should be like a Clip Studio 2021 that just comes out where they've pulled things from Photoshop like dodge and burn, or just the things that it's lacking would be great. But it's badass as is. And I recommend this to people. They were selling you a lie for a long time. I don't know if selling would be the right word, but Manga Studio and Clip Studio are not the same. If you have Manga Studio 5EX and you don't have Clip Studio, they're not really identical programs, and they don't act the same. And also, you can't bring in some of the custom brushes, like the Friendin brushes, and I have one other guy's brush set. I like to support those guys because I mean, like the Friendin brush set now, I think for $15 you get like 800 brushes. So it's a really good deal. And I had already bought, I think, either the 200 or 400 brush pack, but I just decided I would give him the extra money to support his efforts, because I think it's a cool thing to do, and it's a lot of work to create all those custom brushes. So anyway, there's a silhouette of a guy that's behind her, and if you look at the beginning of the video, you can kind of see how I cross-hatched him, but it's basically he's going from black and then dissolving into white behind her. He's probably like a thug with the other sort of dude that's standing there with I think his back is to them in this shot. So they were fun pieces to do. They were time consuming. I think I remember sort of feeling vaguely anxious when I first started them. I get that way with, honestly, like as long as I've been inking and as much stuff as I've worked on, whenever I start working on a quote unquote new penciler, meaning that I haven't worked on their stuff in a while, I'm really nervous, honestly, when I start stuff. Like it's like there's a high level of anxiety that I feel, because I always think that I'm gonna suck. And also because my focus on my own work is so different than this stuff. Like I'm not inking, like the stuff that I'm working on for Blaster Kid is nothing like this stuff. The inks are not even remotely near this. The style isn't like it. It's really not like anything that I've ever worked on. And so it's like, to have that and then to have to like shift gears, it's a lot like switching languages. You're trying to create your own unique language. I'll call it rich Latin, pig Latin, oye vive whatever. But yeah, and then you need to speak French for the day and then go back to your other language. It can get confusing. So anyway, this video is about to end. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and yeah, stay tuned. I have so much footage that I can edit down and create these shorter, sort of slightly, this is sped up 50%. All right, smash the like, please subscribe if you haven't, and if you haven't checked out Patreon, I'm telling you, there's over 400 videos over there.